you can sort of use an inquiry and ask yourself, what if I just give myself permission to only live from here, from this moment, and that's it. Knowing that's the only thing I can do. It's the only thing I've ever done. And it's really the only thing anyone ever does. If the past grabbed you in a thought, it will be a thought. Also, don't push away that. Don't push that away saying, no, I'm going to stay present. Just acknowledge it. There's a thought of the past here. And there's a monitoring thought that says, this is too intense, too much, can't handle it. That's also here. Perfectly okay, because it's here. And if it's here, it's okay. If it's here, it's already being accepted. It's already being assimilated. It's already being felt. So sometimes we overemphasize presence in that we're afraid of a thought about the past, or we resist thoughts or interpretations. But at first, we have to acknowledge that they are thoughts, that the past is a thought. We have to acknowledge that judgments are thoughts. That if I think that guy's a jerk, it's not that he's actually a jerk. It's just that there's a thought that says he's a jerk, right? So there is a layer of realization that's important to recognize all of that. But then we have to take it even deeper and realize, and all of those thoughts only happen now. They're only made out of now. They're only made out of presence. It's a form of presence. It's consciousness presence. And really giving yourself permission to fully inhabit any thought, whatever it is, but remembering that that's only happening right now. And it's complete innocence. It's complete innocence. A thought about the past that says I should have done it differently is not really seeing clearly. It's not seeing what it thinks is the past clearly. It's really just the lens itself is a little bit distorted. The fact that we're looking through a thought lens and believing it just a little too much, that in and of itself causes a little bit of distortion, and it feels uncomfortable. It feels like something's wrong. But the literal way the mind will interpret that is something is wrong because I did something wrong and I did it at a time that I can never access again. And so now there's something fundamentally wrong with me. That's where regret turns into shame. But all of that is just a little bit of the lens distortion. It's just a little bit of a couple degrees off of the way the lens of thought functions. And when we remind ourselves, the discomfort is never because of something that actually did happen. The discomfort is when we're not fully inhabiting what is happening now, including the thought itself, fully experiencing this as a movement of consciousness and this moment as it is, and myself as I am in this moment, fully innocent, just experiencing what's coming. By the time you're aware of it, it's already happened, right? It's by the time we can even reflect on a thought, it's already there. By the time we can reflect on the movement of the body, it's already here. And so just being willing to kind of fully forgive yourself, because if there's ever a sense of, oh, I've done this wrong or that wrong, especially when it's overwhelming or your instinct is that it's distorted, then it's not you and it's not the quote unquote the past. It's the distortion of the lens itself of thought that's making things uncomfortable. Often someone will have a thought that says, well, until I get this right about my life, I can never wake up. I won't wake up. I know, I know that. I know I'm not going to wake up until I get whatever, my debt paid off, or I stop using pot or things like that, right? The mind will say that, and it's uncomfortable to have that thought. But what I point to people is that the mind's interpretation is it's uncomfortable because I have to actually control something externally to make myself comfortable. That's not why it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because you're believing the thought. And that's a huge revelation when you realize you can completely let go of all of that seeming or suggested need for control. When you just see that what makes it uncomfortable is the belief that you have to be in control of something that's not here. You can never be in control of something that's not here because it doesn't exist. That's what's uncomfortable. Believing in something that doesn't exist is uncomfortable inherently, like control, the past, things like that.